the hum of fluorescent light. The door closes somewhere far away. You stand between what was and what has not yet come. I've been walking these halls since the morning broke. Every door the same, every wall a mirror spoke. My footsteps echo where the silence lives, in the margin of a life between the takes and gives. The clocks all stop somewhere around the scene. I'm threading through the needle of a half-remembered dream. The light comes in at angles that don't match the day. I'm somewhere in the passage, halfway on my way. I'm not lost, I'm just between the places I have been and where I've not yet seen. This hallway holds me, quiet as a hell breath. Real empty corridor, I hear my name in you. Every hollow wall is holding something true. The space between the chapters is where I learn to breathe. Empty corridor, I am the space beneath. I walk in the pulse of the bass, finds my chest in the in-between. I finally come to rest. The frequency of stillness is the loudest sound I've known. Empty corridor, this space has made me whole. I left a room that no longer holds my shape. Furniture rearranged, there was no room to wait. So I step into the passage where the air is thin and cool, between the one I was and whoever comes through. The architecture of transition has no name or map, just a corridor, a feeling where I finally unwrap. The noise of all my former selves falls quiet to the floor. I'm standing in the threshold and I'm ready for the door. Not behind and not before, I am the breath inside, the space between the more. This hallway carries me, pulse low and wide alive. Empty corridor, I hear my name in you. Every hollow wall is holding something true. The space between the chapters is where I learn to breathe. Empty corridor, I am the space beneath. I walk and the pulse of the bass finds my chest in the in-between. I finally come to rest. The frequency of stillness is the loudest sound I've known. Empty corridor, this space has made me whole. And maybe this is where we heal, in the gap between the unreal and the real. The bass drops low and the lights go dim. I feel the edges of myself again. The corridor becomes a ride, a passage earned by standing still. Empty corridor, I found myself in you. Every hollow wall was holding something true. The space between the chapters was never meant to end. Empty corridor, I am who I am again. I walk in the pulse of the bass, lifts my soul in the in-between. I found that I was whole. The frequency of stillness was the loudest sound I've known. Empty corridor, I've finally come home. The door opens ahead, your footsteps slow. The corridor behind you was always meant to let you go. is a signal beneath the noise. It pulses at the edge of dusk, before the city forgets it was ever soft. The day unravels thread by thread at 6 p.m. The amber light gives way to violet, and then I'm in the parking structure, engine off and still, listening for the signal underneath the thrill. My phone's a stranger palm, face down and flat. I'm somewhere in the gradient between this and that, between the meetings and the mirrors in the face I show. There is a pulse beneath the pressure, soft and low. I feel the signal from the dusk. It speaks in frequencies of rust and trust, of every unsung moment settling into must. Signal from dusk, it's reaching for me. The in-between frequency setting me free. I tune my body to the quiet between stations here. Signal from dusk, I finally can hear. The bass is the heartbeat of a world slowing down. The synth is the feeling when the self comes around. Between who I was this morning and who I'll be tonight, the signal from dusk fills the space with light. I've been processing all day in high resolution grief, the kind that hides in productivity, the thief. But now the sky turns pink and something in me thaws. I feel the signal in the pause between the laws, between the law of motion and the law of rest, between the fear of ending and the start of best. The city hums its twilight tone and I become a receiver for the frequency that I came from. I feel the signal from the dusk, it breathes in golden shifts. I've learned to trust the liminal lit up from rust to just enough. Signal from dusk, it's reaching for me. The in-between frequency setting me free. I tune my body to the quiet between stations here. Signal from dusk, I finally can hear. The bass is the heartbeat of a world slowing down. The synth is the feeling when the self comes along. Between who I was this morning and who I'll be tonight, the signal from dusk fills the space with light. You don't need to rush past this, the gradient of evening. This is it, the signal's been broadcasting since before your name. In the space between the daylight and the flame, receive it, breathe, and let the liminal reclaim. Signal from dusk, it found me tonight. The in-between is where I finally came to light. I tune my body to the quiet between stations clear. Signal from dusk, the truest thing I hear. The bass is the heartbeat I forgot to own. The synth is the version of myself I've always known. Between who I was at sunrise and who I choose to be, the signal from dusk, it was always here for me. The dusk holds no demons, only frequency. Only you receiving the signal you always were.
Before thought becomes language, there is a place between sleep and waking. Your mind opens its real door.
mind is a hallway with 100 unmarked rooms. I walk through the frequency of late night silent fumes. The synapse fires like a slow burn cathedral bell. The thought I'm chasing lives inside a liminal spell. Between the known and what I've never formed in words. The threshold mind is where the deepest wisdom stirs. At the threshold of the mind, where the answer lives in what I cannot find. The in-between is where the deepest currents bind. Threshold mind, you open wide at the edge of all I know. In the corridor of focus, I let the static go. The bass becomes the rhythm of my neurons sinking deep. Threshold mind, the knowledge I could never keep. I sit inside the passage where the thinking clears. Between the analytical and what appears. The EDM pulse is the pattern of a brain in flow. Threshold mind, this is where I grow. I gave a force an answer, set the break of 3, and let the liminal space between ideas breathe in me. The corridor of thinking has a temperature and tone, a frequency of patience I'm just learning to own. The questions that I carry like a whip through every hole grow lighter in the passage, not by knowing all, but by learning that the threshold is itself the truth. The in-between of wisdom is the seed of youth. At the threshold of the mind, the form I've been becoming starts to find its shape in the between. The space design. Threshold mind, you open wide at the edge of all I know. In the corridor of focus, I let the static go. The bass becomes the rhythm of my neurons sinking deep. Threshold mind, the knowledge I could never keep. I sit inside the passage where the thinking clears. Between the analytical and what appears. The EDM pulse is the pattern of a brain in flow. Threshold mind, this is where I grow, 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 grow. Don't close the door on confusion. It is the room itself. The in-between is where the mind builds its truest shelves. Let the bass carry you through what language cannot hold. Threshold mind, you open wide when I let the forcing go. In the corridor of focus, I found a steady glow. The bass became the rhythm that my neurons always knew. Threshold mind, I found my way back through. I lived inside the passage where the thinking was alive. Between the reaching and the being, I learned to thrive. The EDM pulse was the pattern I was always made to feel. Threshold mind, the in-between was real. The mind, at rest between its knowing, is not empty. It is preparing its most important thought. Every system needs a space between its cycles. You are not broken. You are between versions. since I don't know when. The same recursive pattern cycling around again. But something in the architecture of today has opened up a corridor I didn't know was there. A soft system made between the input and the output stream, where the person that I'm building holds a space to dream. Not a failure, not an ending, not a crash or fall. Just a liminal suspension inside the protocol. Soft system break, the gap where grace lives between the task completed and the next one that gives. The hallway of recovery is where the healing fits. Soft system break, don't override the pause. The space between the doing is the ultimate clause. The lo-fi frequency of stillness holds the self together whole. Soft system break, this is how we restore the soul. The corridor resting is not wasted time. It's the architecture underneath every climb. In the in-between a system, something sacred lives and grows. Soft system break, no every circuit knows. I used to fear the moment when the motion stopped, as if the silence meant that something vital dropped. But in the soft suspension of the space between, I found the version of myself I'd never let be seen. The one who doesn't optimize or grind or prove. The one who simply breathes and settles into groove. The hallway doesn't judge the pace at which I move. Soft system break and there is nothing left to lose. Soft system break, the pause is not defeat. Between the waves of motion, this is where I meet myself in full, in silence, finally complete. Soft system break, don't override the pause. The space between the going is the ultimate clause. The lo-fi frequency of stillness holds the self together whole. Soft system break, this is how we restore the soul. The corridor resting is no wasted time. It's the architecture underneath every climb. In the in-between a system, something sacred lives and grows. Soft system break, now every circuit knows. You don't have to perform the recovery. You don't have to earn the pause in the hallway between your chapters. You are already more than the version you left behind. The bass prove it. Soft system break, I welcomed in the pause. The space between the doing held its own true laws. The lo-fi frequency of stillness made me whole in the redo. Soft system break, now I know the root. The corridor resting was the deepest work I've done. Is the architecture where my healing first begun. In the in-between of systems, I became the thing I need. Soft system break, I finally agree. Systems that never rest, never learn. The break between cycles is how you return.
There are hours the world forgets. It is supposed to make sense. Between 2 and 4 in the morning, when the self goes transparent. I'm awake in the ghost hours when nobody's around. The house monotone refrain. I'm living in the interlude between the joy and pain. My thoughts are corridors I haven't walked in years. Doors I thought were locked are leaking light and fears. The ghost hours make the feeling more precise than day. In the in-between of nighttime, truth refuses to delay. Ghost hours, where the real self roams between the public face and the bones of home. The cinematic bass beneath the quiet arms. Ghost hours, I am fully here and none of this is wrong. The dark corridor of feeling is where I grow strong. The bass pulse of the night air is the beat my body knows. Ghost hours, where the deepest river flows in the space between the sleeping and the waking mind. I excavate the feelings that the daylight left behind. The cinematic dark of 3 a.m. reveals the scene. Ghost hours, I am living my most human dream. There's a specific quality of grief in the ghost hours. It doesn't ask for witness, it just moves through you in showers. The hallway of the night has an acoustics all its own. Every step reverberates with what I've never known. I grieve the life I almost had, the doors I didn't take, and in the in-between of morning something quiet starts to wake. The ghost hours are the passage where the old self learns to let go of who it was before and how it learned to get. Ghost hours, where the past dissolves between the weight of everything and what resolves. The cinematic dark around my feeling evolves. Ghost hours, I am fully here and none of this is wrong. The dark corridor of feeling is where I grow strong. The bass pulse of the night air is the beat my body knows. Ghost hours, where the deepest river flows in the space between the sleeping and the waking mind. I excavate the feelings that the daylight left behind. The cinematic dark of 3 a.m. reveals the scene. Ghost hours, I am living my most human dream. The ghost hours don't haunt you, you haunt them. Walking your own corridors, meeting the selves you stored away, because the day had no room. This is the room, you built it from silence. Ghost hours, I was fully there and all of it was right. The dark corridor feeling carried me through night. The bass pulse of the quiet was the signal deep and known. Ghost hours, I was never once alone in the space between the sleeping and the morning's face. I finally met the feeling I had given all that space. The cinematic dark of 3 a.m. I understand the scene. Ghost hours, I was living not just in a dream. Ghost hours pass, the light comes back always. What you found in the dark is yours to keep. Goodbye is never one moment. It is a hallway you walk for days, learning how to leave before you fully left. Oh yeah. Ooh. I'm still in your apartment, in my head past noon, sitting with the feeling like a half deflated balloon. The goodbye happened 3 weeks ago in words, but my body's still in transit like a flock of unresolved Pack a box, I unpack it, I sit back down on floors. The space between the end and the beginning keeps its pores open to the grief that has no language clean enough. The in-between of love and someone, this is where it's tough, but also where it's tender, where the human signal rings clear as any chorus between all the finished things. I'm learning that the goodbye corridor has its own grace. I'm learning that the love survives the limit of a space between the goodbyes, not behind, not through, just walking with the feeling of the we that once was you. The hallway holds my grief like it was always built for two. Between goodbyes, I live for weeks, for months, for longer still. The hallway of the ending is a passage I must fill with all the love I gave you, with all the hope we build. Between goodbyes, I feel it all without the guilt. The bass lifts what the heart can't hold without the beat. The soul remembers what before it learns to move its feet in the corridor. Parting, something permanent is made. Between goodbyes, the love we share will never fade. It wasn't wasted, none of it. The hallway between loving and letting go is the most human space I've ever known. And in this space, without a map or clock, I find that I still know how to walk. Between goodbyes, I found the whole of what I am. The hallway of the ending was a diagram of every tender human thing that doesn't disappear. Between goodbyes, the love we gave is here. The bass held every feeling, I was scared to feel alone. The soul rebuilt itself from what was beautiful and known. In the corridor apart, and I became more than before. Between goodbyes, I found what love is for. The hallway of goodbye grows shorter with each step, not because it ends, because you learn to carry it. Between every station, there is a frequency. Not silence, not sound, but the signal of becoming. On the train between the cities that define my life, I watch the suburbs blur away like dissolving strife. I'm neither where I started nor where I'm going to. I'm at the transit frequency, the space inside the view, the other passengers, the ghosts of their own transit too. Each one a liminal creature in a corridor of blue. We share the passage without touching, knowing naming still. The frequency of moving between stays holds its thrill. Transit frequency, the in-between is life. Between the stations of my life where I survive, the progressive build beneath my chest helps me arrive. Transit frequency, I'm tuned to you right now. The space between the where I was and where I'm headed, how the EDM architecture of the passage makes it clear. Transit frequency, I'm most myself in here. The platform disappears and I'm suspended in the track. The person I was yesterday is not the one coming back. Between the stations of my life, the truest version forms. Transit frequency, born between the norms, 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 norms. carry all my history in a single carry-on. The weight of who I've been and who I'm building from. But in the transit corridor between the origin and end, the architecture of the self begins again to bend. Not breaking, realigning with the frequency of change. The psychedelic undercurrent of the liminal full range. The tunnel holds the sound of who I've always meant to be. Transit frequency, it broadcasts just for me. Transit frequency, the movement is the truth. Between the stations of becoming and the proof. The hallway of the transit holds the deepest groove. Transit frequency, I'm tuned to you right now. The space between the where I was and where I'm headed. How the EDM architecture of the passage makes it clear. Transit frequency, I'm most myself in here. Platform disappears and I'm suspended in the track. The person I was yesterday is not the one coming back. Between the stations of my life, the truest version forms. Transit frequency, born between the norms, 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 norms. You don't have to reach the destination to know you are on the right train. The transit itself, the blur of the in-between window, is evidence enough that you are moving. The frequency proves it. Between the stations is my home base. EDM architecture of the passage was so clear. Transit frequency in between is here. The platform will arrive and I'll step through into new. The person I am now between is honest and is true. Between the stations of my life, the fullest version stands. Transit frequency and everything expands. Every journey between carries its own arrival. You were always going somewhere worth the corridor.
Some passages are sacred, not because they hold the light, but because they lead you through the dark to find your own. I've sung in full cathedrals, in the spaces built for praise, but the holiest room I know is between my different days. The hallway of my life, between the landmarks and the doors, the corridor of ordinary, of the what between the yours. There is a hymn that lives inside the in-between of things, a frequency of passage where the human spirit sings. Not passage is a state of grace. I carry grief into the hallway. When the last room closed its door, I carried hope into the passage when I couldn't take much more. Of the whole, the hallway is the hymn, and the hymn is in my soul. Hallway hymn for those who haven't found the next room yet, who walk the in-between of sound. The sacred corridor holds something nudie, profound. Hallway hymn, rise up inside the space between the chapters of my life. The corridor of ordinary is the of the strife. Oh, I sing inside the passage where nobody comes to kneel. Hallway hymn, the in-between is real. Yeah, the gospel bass of transition shakes the floor beneath my feet. The sacred EDM of the ordinary makes me complete. Between the moments I can name and those I cannot place. Hallway hymn, this passage is a state of grace. Every hallway between your chapters is the holiest room you'll ever walk. The bass beneath the silence is the hymn you were always singing to yourself before you knew the words. You rose up in the spaces I the corridor of ordinary was the only door I needed, Lord. I sang inside the passage, and the passage sang me home. Hallway hymn, you live inside my soul. The gospel bass of transition was the rhythm of my truth. The sacred EDM of the in-between was proof. Between the moments I have lived and all that waits beyond. Hallway hymn, this passage was the bond. The hymn you sing in empty hallways is the truest song. No one hears it but you, and that's always been enough. There's a whole life happening in the margins of your vision, between the focus and the frame, peripheral and permanent. I built my whole identity in the central frame. Thought the peripheral was just the edge of the game, but it's in the margins of the minutes and the hours in between that the most authentic version of myself is seen. Between the highlight reel and what I actually feel, between the curated feed and what is actually real. The peripheral hours hold the frequency I've earned, the conscious baseline made of everything I've learned. Peripheral hours, the margin is the text, between the center of the story and what comes next. The hip-hop truth, the in-between is unexpressed. Peripheral hours, I live them like I mean it now. The in-between, the focus is where I take my vow to honor what exists outside the center of the stage. Peripheral hours, the margin of the age. The conscious bass drops low beneath the hype and noise. The in-between of living is where I find my voice. Between the documented moments and the ones I don't post, those are the ones I love the most. I used to rush through hallways between the rooms that mattered, but now I know the hallways where the ego gets shattered. In the space between the timestamps and the feeds, the peripheral reveals the truest set of needs. The ones that don't perform well, that don't get the likes,
The 6 a.m. before the camera, those peripheral lights between the public self and the private corridor of thought. The most important lesson in the in-between is taught. Peripheral hours, the depth is in the frame between the moments built for others in my name. The hip-hop pulse of in-between is not the same. Peripheral hours, I live them like I mean it now. The in-between, the focus is where I take my vow to honor what exists outside the center of the stage. Peripheral hours, the margin of the age. The conscious bass drops low beneath the hype and noise. The in-between of living is where I find my voice. Between the documented moments and the ones I don't post. Peripheral hours, those are the ones I love the most. The algorithm doesn't index the hallway, but the hallway indexes you. Every peripheral hour between your life's main chapters is where the realest data lives. Not optimized, not compressed, just you between the acts. Peripheral hours. Peripheral hours. I finally gave them the center. The in-between of living was the soul of my September. I honor what existed in the margins of the stage. Peripheral hours, the wisdom of my age. The conscious bass rose up from underneath the noise. The in-between returned to me my deepest voice. Between the documented life and what I never chose to post. Peripheral hours, I live them fully. Those what happens in your peripheral hours is not less than your life. It is more. The margin holds the meaning.
Every hallway ends, not because the journey stops, but because the door you've been becoming finally opens from the inside. I've been in this corridor for longer than I knew, building up the person who would finally walk through. Every empty hallway taught me something I couldn't learn in rooms. The architecture of the in-between removed my oldest fumes, the fumes of who I had to be before the passage cleared, before the liminal transition made me everything I feared I might become if I stood still, but still was where I found the door that only opens from the inside. Underground, open door, and the hallway was the way between the self I was and who I am today. The orchestra EDM of becoming starts to play. But now I know the in-between is where the whole self resides. Between every closed door and every open frame, the corridor of living is the source of every name I have given to the version of myself that grew in dark, in transit, in the ghost hours, in the space between the spark. The passage was the destination, not the waiting room. The
passage was the prize. Between the fear of staying and the courage to arise, the orchestral beat of transition amplified. Open door in, I reached you through the corridor. I've walked every empty space between my chapters, every hallway talk. The bass rose to an orchestral peak of what it means to be somewhere between the leaving and arriving, finally free. The cinematic swell of every in-between I've known crests here at the open door. I'm coming into my own. The liminal transition is complete and I step through. Open door and the hallway was the breakthrough. You walked every empty corridor. You stood in every space that had no name. You stayed inside the liminal when leaving felt like freedom and arriving felt like ending what you were. And now the door opens inward because you built it from the inside. The EDM drops to its full orchestral peak. This was always yours. Open door and I walked through every hallway that I've known. In the empty spaces of transition I was never alone. The bass rose to the fullness of what I've always been. Open door and from the in-between, every corridor, every ghost hour, every signal of dust, every soft system break, every threshold of trust, they were all the open door disguised as empty space. Open door and the hallway was the grace. You are through, not because the corridor is gone, but because you are now.